Hey guys, I am Anoop and welcome to another video. So this is episode 1 of what I'm calling a travel photo diary. So back in November of 2018, I went on this trip to Bhutan, and today I'll be sharing few of my most memorable moments from that trip. So for the next 5 minutes, take a break from whatever you are doing. Find a comfortable place to sit back, relax and enjoy these stories.
These my dance make it hurt.
Now this trip is right up there as one of the best trips I've ever been on, mainly because of two reasons. One, I did it with two of my best travel buddies, Hari and Sandy, and two, we did it on our motorcycles. So we flew from Bangalore to Kolkata and drove to this town called Jaigaon on India-Bhutan border. And from there, we rented 3 motorcycles and then drove into and across Bhutan for the next 7 days. It was an amazing trip, and here are the 6 most important takeaways for me personally from this trip. The first thing that struck us as soon as we stepped foot in this country was how clean everything was. The border of entry separates the Indian city of Jaigaon from Phuntsholing in Bhutan, and the difference in cleanliness on either sides of the border is night and day. There were these tidy and maintained footpaths, clean roads, and proper zebra crossings. They even had pedestrian first approach at these zebra crossings. The immediate realization that I had was that you don't need to be a rich nation to be a beautiful nation. Now, I had seen this kind of order and cleanliness in Western countries before, but to see it in our own neighboring country was a welcome surprise. As South Indians, we are less familiar with colder temperatures. Though we had gone prepared, it was still a challenge riding our regular non-heated motorcycles in sub 5 degree temperatures. We found ourselves taking a lot of breaks just to keep our hands warm. At one point it was so cold that we literally used the silencers to keep our hands to prevent them from going numb. Also on our way back from Punakha, we were welcomed with 0 degrees on Dochila Pass. We were barely holding onto the handlebars with numb hands in the shivering cold. Fortunately for us though, we found a cafe at Dochila Pass, which was mostly deserted by that time. Now this cafe was a blessing, all with a fireplace, freshly baked cookies and hot coffee. We sat in front of the fire, munching on the delicious cookies, and we really didn't want to leave the place. The food was amazing, all across Bhutan, every place we went. This was evident from the very first meal we had in Thimphu. We rode for 5 hours straight and were famished by the time we reached Thimphu at night in the shivering cold. We found a decent looking restaurant and went in expecting very little. But then the dinner that was served to us in special brass plates blew our minds. Throughout the rest of the trip, we kept trying new dishes from imadashi to thukpas to butter tea, and we hardly came across a bad meal. Food is one of those things which can make or break a trip, and Bhutan served us some of the best meals we have ever had. And a special mention to Bhutanese peach wine, Zumjin. I frankly lost count of the number of bottles we gulped. All 3 of us were absolutely in love with this sweet wine, and personally, it's the best wine that I've had in my life. As we were riding through one of the inroads, 2 kids, 7, 8-year-olds, asked us for a lift. I got to talking with one of them and found out that he spoke very fluent Hindi, and he was a fan of Indian movies and Bollywood music. He was a fan of Hrithik in particular, and he kept talking on and on about his favorite movies. Incidentally, they had moved from Nepal, and he told me that's the reason he spoke Hindi so well. We dropped them both off near their homes, and I was struck by the innocence in their eyes. Bhutan is not as tech savvy as most other nations today, and this brought back memories of my own childhood, growing up in a remote South Indian village in the 90s, where we were less addicted to technology and spent way more time playing outdoors. Bhutan is a country with spectacular terrains, and nothing can beat the experience of exploring them on motorcycles like we did. Every twist and turn in the road greeted us with breathtaking views. There were a lot of stretches throughout our 7-day trip where we were only covering around 25 kilometers an hour, but we were hardly complaining. It only provided us with more time to savor every passing landscape. We were passing through these extensive stretches of roads overlooking valleys. We saw the play of sunlight and shadows over the mountains, broad stream of rivers passing through these valleys, frozen snow on either sides of the roads, and sometimes on the roads themselves, scaring the shit out of us. Another highlight was when we were riding through these valleys at night on our way to Paro. We had a full moon on the horizon, starlit skies overhead, and a gentle rumbling river stream down below. The people of Bhutan seemed content with what they were doing. They seemed a lot less worried and more happier. The cities felt less hurried and movement seemed to be more relaxed and leisurely. They seem to enjoy everyday moments more, which makes sense given the spectacular views they are surrounded with day in and day out. Apart from these, there were other memorable moments, like my friend falling off the bike on day 1, which was super funny, and yes, he was alright. And a few hilarious verbal exchanges with 2 super cute and bubbly caretaker girls in a hotel in Paro. We also visited countless monasteries, zongs, came across a wide variety of prayer wheels, flags, and colorful banners throughout our journey. And a lot of these experiences will stay with me for the rest of my life. To sum it up, this small Himalayan nation is rich both in natural resources and cultural heritage. You'll fall in love with its people as much as you do with the spectacular views it has to offer. It's also the only carbon negative country in the world with a staggering 71% of its land under forest cover. Bhutan is one of the few places that has mesmerized me beyond words. If you love visiting peaceful places with rich cultural heritage and breathtaking natural views, Bhutan needs to be on your destination list. Thank you for watching. I know this was less about the specifics of our trip and more about our experiences and how we felt. If you want me to share the specifics of our trip, do let me know in the comments below, and I would be happy to make another video with all those details. Alright, that's been it. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Until then,